man, I think, a couple things. Number one, you are responsible, right? Like the owner, the business owner, the entrepreneur is responsible, right? Because you're responsible, regardless of whether you take the mentality or approach or philosophy of pouring into people, you are responsible. Look, ultimately you hired them, you onboarded them, you trained them or had them trained, you equipped them with the systems. Maybe they were the wrong hire. Therefore, it's your fault for hiring them. Maybe you onboarded them or incorrectly, or maybe your onboarding system that somebody else used to onboard them was weak. Regardless, you are responsible. I'll tell you, in line with that, where that comes from for me. So years ago when I was at the health club company and 9/11 happened, and after 9/11, Rudy Giuliani, when he was still somewhat respected, wrote a book on leadership. And the one thing that I remember from that leadership book was Rudy Giuliani said he had a plaque, like a placard on his desk that he looked at every day. And the placard had two words. And those two words were, "I'm responsible." And the reality is that if you have somebody on your team who robs from you, you're responsible because you hired them. Maybe you didn't vet them correctly. Maybe you didn't interview them correctly. You are responsible ultimately. And so I think, look, pouring into people, I want to be crystal clear. This doesn't mean that you don't hold people accountable. This doesn't mean that you're not firm and strict and sometimes brutal with people. Like, I'm not saying that you avoid the difficult conversations. I believe that the difficult conversations are as valuable as the edifying when you're doing it from the right place, when you're doing it because you care enough about the person, about the team, about the business, right, to say what needs to be said. Often the reality is the most difficult conversations to have are usually the most important ones to have with a team member, right? The ones that the typical leader or manager avoids having are usually the most important ones to have. But if you view it in the light of it's all about their development, their growth, because you're a coach. Coaches don't only say positive things. Coaches say what needs to be said in the best interest of their person. Look, I think another one of my kind of philosophies, if you will, or part of my worldview as it relates to my business, I guess you could say, is, and I believe that anybody and everybody can have this same perspective, and that is that the business that we are in is the business of changing lives. The vehicle, the tool that we happen to use to do that is improved marketing. In other words, I'm in the business of changing the lives of entrepreneurs. I want to give them more autonomy, more control, more freedom, and more money. So that they can do X, Y, and Z, whatever is most important to them. So they can send their kids to private school. So they can move into a better neighborhood and a better house. So they can have their spouse stop working. So they can finally get a better car, a safer car. So that they can get themselves health insurance. So that they can finally live the life of their dreams or whatever it is, right? I believe that I'm in that business, and I just happen to use marketing, our E5 method and system, and our products and programs to do that. And so when you take that perspective, right, so I'm not in the business of merely teaching marketing. That's the vehicle that I use, that I happen to be fairly skilled at to change lives. And I think because of that perspective, and because I've drilled that perspective into my team, it's become a part of our culture. It carries through to the way that we approach every circumstance and every opportunity. This is why I'm able to look at opportunities to partner with people and say, nah, because I don't believe that it is going to impact in a positive way the lives of the people that we serve. Or do certain policies in the company, are they only good for the company and not good for the tribe, right? Well, is there a happy medium that we can find? And so I think that is wildly important, and it dictates how and why we do what we do. A story for you.